Sort through the confusion over those omega-3s you hear about too. Fox 5's Holly Morris is at the drafting table, one of the latest gastro-pubs in Northwest with more. Good morning, Holly.
Good morning to you. And you know, eggs is one of those things where, like, at one moment they tell us that they're good for us, then the next moment they say no, you need to limit how much you eat. So what's the real deal? Well, you're right, we have brought in an expert. Her name happens to be Katherine Sumner, and she's joining me in the kitchen here. She is a nutritional health coach. So my question is, are you putting eggs in, Coach? Are they good for you?
They are good for you. Some people do have sensitivities to eggs or allergies to eggs, so for those people they shouldn't be eating eggs. But for most people, the average American, it's packed with nutrition, protein, good fats. So yes, they are good for us.
Now, should you eat the yolks and the whites, or just the whites? Or
I'm a big believer you eat the whole egg, just like any whole food. So if you eat an apple, you eat the whole apple, right? Because the yolk has the good fats, the white has the good proteins, and we need both of those.
Well, we're going to continue to talk about nutrition, but my next question is, did you know eggs could be sexy?
I did not.
You didn't learn that when you were studying about nutrition? Well, let me tell you who can show us how to make eggs sexy. That is C.G. Wagner. She is the executive chef here at the drafting table. So, C.G., tell me about this sexy egg sandwich.
It is quite sexy. It is a really nice sourdough toast that we put an herb aioli on top of, a layer of prosciutto, and then we toss some arugula and roasted red peppers. So the arugula just has a really nice light dressing to it, and then we put in some eggs.
And now how are these eggs cooked?
I just cook them barely over easy, so they're still nice and runny inside, because you want that really messy, you know, yolk squirting out everywhere as soon as you bite into the sandwich. You know, because that's what makes it sexy.
There you go. I was going to say, and so why is this sexy? Because it's a hot mess.
Because it is a hot mess. So this is how we serve it. We serve it with the yolk coming right out as a sauce on the plate, so you can't help but to make a mess of yourself while you're eating it. Okay, well, I'm going to continue to let CG work, and that is the real name of the sandwich, by the way. We're not making that up and or just being funny here this morning. But Katherine, back to you. How often should we really have eggs in our diet?
You know, it really is dependent on the individual. You know, so some people will need more protein in a day than others, depending on their activity level, if they're a woman, if they're a man, if they're a child. But I would say, you know, a couple times a week, 2 to 3 times a week. Eggs would be a great breakfast, a great lunch, something to throw on your salad. So they're good food.
Now, what about, you know, in the store nowadays we see brown eggs, we see omega-3 eggs, you know, we have large eggs, extra large eggs. Like, how do you know which ones to get?
Well, the best eggs are going to be the pastured eggs. And pastured eggs means that chickens are out in the pasture eating the diet that they are supposed to be eating, which is green grass, you know, grubs or insects, and probably some grain. And those eggs are actually going to have a higher content of vitamins and minerals. They're going to have a higher content of the good fats, and they're going to have more of the protein.
What about the omega-3 eggs?
So the omega-3 eggs would be your next choice of eggs that you'd want to choose.
Now, brown over white? Does it matter?
It doesn't matter. But typically, if you see real eggs, so those pastured eggs, they're going to be different colors.
And what about like large, extra large? Does that matter?
No.
Just depends on what size you want.
Right. Exactly.
And real quickly before we go here, CG, you got one other brunch egg item we want to highlight?
Yes, it is also on our dinner menu as well. It's our kaya toast. So it comes like this. It is on 2 plates. We have our sunny side up eggs and a nice soy broth. And we serve it with this toast with a sweet coconut jam. So the idea is that you dip it into the egg yolk and the soy. You make a really nice sauce out of it. So it's kind of sweet, it's savory, it's salty, it's kind of everything all mixed up together.
So Katherine, which one are you taking?
I don't know. They all look good to me.
We'll have a little bit of everything. You can have a little bit of everything as well here at the Drafting Pub. It's myfoxdc.com is our website. We have a link to theirs. They've just been opened this fall, so come out and hit one of the hottest new places in town and have an egg with it. We're going to have more coming up in our next hour. Back to you.
Looks delicious. Thank you, Holly.
Holly.
Still ahead in our next hour, stories from the front lines, courtesy of the veterans who were there.
We will sit down with 3 local members of the military as our nation pauses to pay tribute to our men and women in uniform. Time right now is 8:55. We'll be right back.